Oh, hi guys. Jeez, it's Iron Ramsey here, and that is a name that has been given to me by a near and dear metal detector, a metal detecting friend. Let me get all this gear off me. Oh my gosh. Yes, another piece of iron. Oh wow. A backpack too. Hey, this video is in response to the overwhelming support I got from my gals at Women Diggers on the Facebook forum, Women Diggers. I want to thank you for appreciating me wanting to share health and wellness tips for detectorists. I am a certified CrossFit instructor for 8 years. I worked in the medical field for 15 years in radiation therapy. I have a background in anatomy, physiology, and kinesiology. And I view metal detecting as a sport, and I respect it as a sport. Your equipment that you use, your machine, your digging tools, very expensive equipment, but probably the most important piece of equipment that you have is your body. Being able to go through full range of motion, to get down and dig, to carry a heavy backpack, to carry heavy finds back to your car, all of those things require a certain amount of fitness. And we want to be able to do those things without injuring ourselves. So my goal is to share with you some fitness tips that you can actually do at home so that when you're out in the field detecting, it'll make it much more enjoyable and reduce your risk of injury. So today we're going to talk about internal and external rotation. In metal detecting, as you can see when I came in with the machine, we are all operating in internal rotation. Not only are we operating in internal rotation, we are oftentimes weighed down with either a backpack, a shovel, other digging tools, but we're primarily working in this internally rotated position. And we actually live in internal rotation. We eat internally rotated. We drive internally rotated. So what can we do at home to make sure that our flexibility and mobility in our shoulders and in our back keep us in a position for full range of motion? So we really want to work with getting us out of this internally rotated position so that we're back into anatomical position and utilize full range of motion of all our joints. So I'm going to show you a very, very simple exercise that you can do at home that's going to help with shoulder flexibility. It'll help you with posterior chain strength and strengthening the muscles in your back so that you don't end up with this permanent posture of internal rotation and back problems. So the only piece of equipment that you need is a piece of PVC. You can buy a piece at Home Depot, at Lowe's. Doesn't really matter what length. I happen to have cut this one for myself. I did tell you a little bit about myself, right? I did. Okay, good. I am CrossFit certified, Russian kettlebell certified, Olympic lifting certified, and CrossFit nutrition certified. So I really want to give back to the metal detecting community something, and this is what I have that I can share with you. So talking about flexibility in the shoulder, internal and external rotation. Anatomical position here is neutral. We can internally rotate our shoulder or we can externally rotate our shoulder. We operate in internal rotation when we're detecting, and we have our machine here. A couple of things can go on with that. If we have limited range of motion in our shoulder and our flexibility is limited, it puts tension on the ligaments and tendons in the elbow. And you can actually end up with tennis elbow or tendonitis in the elbow. So we want to make sure that we keep our ligaments, tendons, and our joints flexible so that we reduce our chance of injury when we're out there in the field. Very simple, simple exercise. You're going to get a piece of PVC. You're just going to stand in the neutral position, feet shoulder width apart. You're going to take that piece of PVC and you're going to get a wide grip on it. And you really want to grip it. And once you're in that position, you're going to externally rotate your shoulders. And I call that elbow pits out. So you can see it here. I'm turning my elbows out, elbows out. Once my elbows are out and locked out, I'm simply going to lift the PVC up over my head and keeping tension on it, bring it all the way around to the back. And I'll do again. Now, don't be discouraged if you can't get that stick over your head without bending your elbows. You want to go to the widest grip that you can get to get the stick over your head without bending your elbows. So if you're having to bend your elbows, don't get discouraged, okay? That just means that you have limited range of motion and flexibility in your shoulder joint. And this is the reason why we're doing this exercise, to improve that. The more flexible you become, the more narrow your grip will be each time you do the exercise. So, one other thing, you don't ever want to force a movement like this. If you cannot go up and over without bending your elbows, do not force it. Never want to put tension on a ligament or tendon or a muscle that isn't flexible, because we can end up with injury. So you're going to start with your range of motion. So let's just say, today, this is as far as I can go, here. All right, well, that's fine. At this point, I'm going to break my elbow to take it down, bring it back up to here, and then work it back up over my head. Now, you might want to start with 3 sets of 5 on your first day. So I'm going to go ahead and do a set of 5. It looks like this. Now, at the top, you push up, keeping tension on the stick, and bring it all the way down to the back. And up and over. Here we go. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And I'm going to rest. Shake it out. And your shoulders are going to be really tender when you first start doing this movement. A couple of things, ladies, that you're really going to get out of this is that internal rotation and that kyphotic curve in our spine that we get as we age. This is an exercise that will actually help correct that, because it's going to loosen up the muscles on the front of the body that have pulled us tight and internally rotated us. So as we go through that motion, you can see I'm stretching my pecs out, which is going to release the tension on the front of the body and allow the back of the body back into anatomical position. 5 sets, do 5 for 3 sets on the first day. The next day, see how you feel. If your shoulders are tender, use a little bit of ice, and then give yourself a day of rest, and do it every other day. But if you do this exercise consistently over a period of weeks and months, you will actually improve your posture, improve the range of motion in your shoulders, reduce your chance for injury out in the field when you are detecting. You're going to strengthen your shoulders and back. It's going to make detecting and getting down and digging and carrying your equipment much easier, which in turn is going to make your detecting experience much more enjoyable. And I know when I'm out there, I don't want to go home. So the longer this little old body can keep up with my mind not wanting to go home, then the better it serves me. So, like I said, my body is my #1 most important piece of equipment in the sport of metal detecting. And I hope that some of these tips will help you improve your mobility, flexibility, and reduce your chance for injury while you're out there detecting. And I wanted to share that with you. You guys have a fantastic day. If you have any questions or requests or any problems that you have, please send me a message or friend me on Facebook, Tish Ramsey. And all I have to say to you now is y'all keep digging.